Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Jadis Joe here, and we are taking a look today, kind of first impressions video, actually second impressions because it's pretty much Earth Defense Force 2025, but anyway, we're going to go take a look at Earth Defense Force 4.1, the Shadow of Despair, even though Despair really can't cast a shadow unless if Despair is the name of some creature that does cast a shadow, but anyway, pretty much is an updated version of Earth Defense Force 2025. As usually Earth Defense Force games go, they usually release them and it's usually an updated version of another version. But I digress. Anyway, Earth Defense Force, if you're not familiar with it, I would have to say it's closely kind of like... God, I forgot the name of it. Dynasty Warriors, but Dynasty Warriors mixed with Starship Troopers. It's a futuristic Dynasty Warriors kind of setup game, and it is a lot of fun. For those who have played the game before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those who have not, you should. These games are incredibly fun, especially when you're playing them with a friend, because there is two-player couch co-op. There's also an online multiplayer. But unfortunately, in the previous games, for me, they've always been kind of finicky when it comes to the online multiplayer. But we're just going to take a quick look at the game as you watch me play some in the background. The game premise is pretty much set up is there's hundreds of levels. Each of them take you from a cityscape like we're in now to an open beach, to an open plain, to a destroyed city, to a nuked city. Pretty much it takes you all over the world to all these different places, and you kill bugs. A bunch of different bugs, anywhere from ants to spiders, to arachnids. And then after you're done killing all the different type of bugs, they start throwing aliens in at you. Giant walking mechs, spaceships, spider bots, I think there's some. And then as soon as you're done killing all of them, they start throwing dragons at you. Flying dragons, ground dragons. And hopefully, I believe the big Godzilla-like monster does make an appearance in this game. I've seen it on the Japanese version of this game. Then yeah, you get to fight a big Godzilla monster. Who doesn't want to fight a big Godzilla monster in video games? But the basic premise of that is you go into a level, they set you up with the monsters or bugs to kill. And you kill the bugs along the way. As you kill the bugs drop weapon containers and armor containers and health containers that you pick up. Once you complete the mission, all the weapons you obtain, whether they're new ones that you just obtained or they're ones that you obtained before, become available for you to select to play as, or to play with. Now, that's where the big draw of the game comes for me, is that you can go into, let's say, the first level and play it on easy. And easy, you get a certain types of drops of weapons, and then you can go back and you can play that game on normal, and you get better weapon drops. You go back and you play that on hard, better weapon drops, inferno, and so on and so on. So even if you complete the game on easy, you can still go back and play it on normal or hard or inferno and get better gear. And the gear in this game is really worth getting. For right now, you see I'm using a rocket launcher, and it takes like 6 shots to destroy this web. After you play the game on Inferno, or a few levels on Inferno, you can go back and you can actually probably destroy that web with 1 shot from a rocket launcher. Matter of fact, you would destroy the web, the spider, and a 1-block area of the map. Yes, all buildings, structures, and whatnot in this game are destructible, and some weapons later on will destroy and level an entire block, if not 2 blocks, of a city. And that's really where the fun comes in, is you go to destroy a bug on the side of the building, and you actually end up taking out the whole building. What else to say about the game? The game has been upgraded to 1080p, 60 frames per second. It's one of the first times EDF has ever been seen in that glory, if that's something that floats your boat. And also, too, haven't really noticed too much the game slowing down. A lot of the previous games have had the issue that the game bogs down when there's so many enemies on the screen and it goes into slow motion when it's really not supposed to go into slow motion. But I haven't seen that yet. But then again, I am pretty early in the game and haven't really ran into a massive horde. Which is surprising, because the first 2 levels really set you up with probably hundreds of ants to kill, and that's not even the tip of the iceberg. I mean, some of these levels, when you get it later on in the game, has thousands of ants. and bugs in the levels, and it gets pretty intense pretty fast. That's a good thing about the game too, is that you might see the gameplay here and think it's relatively easy, but then again, this is only the 4th or maybe the 5th mission. Later on, the game gets incredibly hard, and it makes you go back and try to get better weapons, which is a good thing for me. I enjoy a game that gets so hard that makes me go back and farm or go back and try to acquire better weapons. And there's so many weapons in the game, and I hear I hear that they put even more into the game now. So that's awesome. I mean, especially being able to go back and play the same level on a different difficulty level and get a totally different or different difficulty level and totally go back and get a whole new experience is amazing. And it's one of those games that, even though it is the same concept over and over again, as I said before, you go into level, you kill bugs, you get weapons, you move on. It's a hell of a lot of fun in the process of doing it. And that's the important thing with a game like this, especially, that you have fun while playing it. Because, I mean, it's not going to be next-gen graphics. It's not going to be any overwhelming cutscenes. There's not going to be any grotesque violence or death scenes that you want to play to see them for some reason. I'm guilty of it, too. I enjoy a good death scene like everybody else, even though I technically think there's something wrong with me because of it. But anyway, you're not going to see any of that in here. The game is pretty much what you see here, except the level's going to change and the surroundings are going to change. So there's nothing really other things hidden in the game. Pretty much what you see in this level is what the entire game is going to be. Even though I must admit that the game on the PS4 does look gorgeous. Always on the PS2 and the PS3, the games have always looked, or even the Vita or the PSP, but we're not going to count those, always have looked kind of gritty, kind of lackluster. However, for the PS4 version, they really came through and actually made the city look like an actual city. Haven't really been out of the city yet, hoping to get into the desert and some open plains sooner or later to see how those look. But the city looks amazing, and especially for it being destructible, it looks really good. Now also too, I am playing as a ranger at this point in time, because if you have the option to play as a ranger, always play as a ranger. That's just what you do. But there's also other classes. There are the ranger, there's the... actually, I'll just describe them a little bit. The rangers are pretty much your basic ground troop. They have access to the most wide variety of weapons, anywhere from grenades to grenade launchers to flamethrowers to rocket launchers to machine guns to shotguns to sniper rifles. They're pretty much your base ground unit grunt. Next you have is... I forget what they call them. They're like your support class. They can... I wish I remembered the name, but I don't at the moment. They're a support class. Pretty much they can put down health pods, they can put down ammo pods, or not ammo pods, but weapon pods, and machine turrets, and all that other fun stuff as well. They can also call in airstrikes, call in vehicles. They pretty much support all the other functions in the game. The next class would be the wing divers. Wing divers are pretty much an aerial unit. They got jetpacks. They fly around. I usually call them the Valkyries because they're an all-female unit. But they're a little weird. They're not my favorite class, just pretty much because their weapon power... They use energy-based weapons, and their weapon power is drawn from their jetpack. So if you fly too long with your jetpack, you can't use your energy weapon, or if you use your energy weapon too much, you can't go ahead and use your jetpack. But the next class is the Fencer class. This is the heavy armored class. They're pretty much the tank class. I call them mini-mechs because they're pretty much what I make them sound like. They're mini-mechs. They're heavily armed, slow-moving EDF troops. They can equip anything from double Gatling guns to huge bazookas, to the ridiculous ballista weapons. I forget what they're called. I always call them the knife chuckers or the spear chuckers, because you literally sit there and you have like 1,000 spears in your backpack, and you can just send them hundreds of yards away just to rain spears or swords down on the enemy. And it is really one of my favorite classes in the game outside of the Ranger, because you are just heavy, and you feel like heavy arms from Gundam Wing. And who doesn't want to be heavy arms from Gundam Wing? Come on. But outside of that, even if you do, go through and play a level as a ranger, and you decide you want to switch to a fencer or a wing diver or a support class, it's best to go back and play those levels again because, as I said, certain levels drop certain weapons. So, and I think there's a whole wiki out there about Earth Defense Force 2025 that you can go look up, and it will tell you exactly what level you go into and what difficulty you have to play it on to acquire that weapon. So even with that wiki, it really makes the farming less tiresome, and it's always good to not get bored at farming. But yeah, super excited about this game. As I said before in one of my live streams, while other people are playing, Fallout 4 and Just Cause 3, or Just Cause 3, or however I pronounce that game, I'm going to be sitting here and I'm going to rock some Earth Defense Force because the game might be a clone of a previous version with some new stuff added, but as far as having fun with the game and a game that keeps me entertained and doesn't really put too much stress on me, it doesn't make you make these choices, it doesn't say, oh, if you kill this bug it's going to affect how the game ends later. It doesn't do that to you. It just sits down and lets you come in, spend 10-15 minutes on a level and kill a bunch of bugs with some really cool weapons that you get later on. So yeah, that was a quick look at Earth Defense Force 4.1, The Shadow of Despair. I hope you enjoy my description. And yeah, I really have nothing else. I really just want to go back and play it. I really don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to go back and play it. But as always, I'm JS Joe, and thanks for watching my video. If you liked the video, be sure to press the like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel and see more Earth Defense Force 4.1 and a bunch of other games that I tend to play, because I do tend to jump around when playing video games, but I bought this game, so I will come back and play it more. But more important, so go ahead and subscribe if you want. I always skip that part. But yeah, but always, and more importantly, be safe and have fun. Thanks for watching.